Hello, the channel. Welcome back, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. It's a bit of an unusual game week, so we've got a later lock, and it's going to be Champions League special and then a European game week as well. I'm going to do some Champions League stuff here. Obviously, Celtic are playing as well. Um, I'm going to be away. I'm going down to Birmingham. Not got a ticket for the game right enough, but go down in amongst fans for a few beers just to enjoy the road trip. So I won't be around for any more information prior to the game week, and then we'll see what happens for the next game week. There's a possibility there might be no video for the weekend, unfortunately, just because of when I'm sort of travelling back up, etc. But I'll do my very best to get something out on Thursday night if I'm still not too hungover from the beers and singing Jota's on the wing. Anyways, back to the task at hand. Not really won any cards into this game week anyway, so that's fine. A small bit of um, cash. A wee bit disappointing with Real Madrid. It's a really nice fixture. Barca won 7, which you can't really sort of legislate for in any way. But yeah, I mean Real Madrid 1-0, still $150, so not too bad at all. Just a wee bit annoyed with the captain. Joyce the last game week of Captain Bellingham and he had 3 BCMs and a goal VAR. So in that game, Rodrigo and Mbappe got hundreds. Captain Rodrigo this time, and he get the lowest score out of freedom, which makes a big difference when there's loads of Real Madrid stacks. And Mbappe smashed again, which he hasn't been doing all season. I just couldn't bring myself to actually captain him. But anyway, still turning over a wee bit of cash, which I'm quite pleased about, generally speaking. So in terms of the game week, the lock is quite late. So it's an interesting concept. We've now got competitions where you need to beat the target, and then everyone who beats that target shares a certain amount of cash. Sorare are paying out a good amount of cash, so that's good. Look out as well because there is a $20,000 free to play version. So obviously Sorare are trying to bring in some sort of users for that, and I quite like that. You get an advantage if you buy a limited, so it encourages people to buy their first card. So the reason I'm doing the preview, I'm not doing any team selections or anything just now, but the reason I'm doing the preview is I think that, in the last hour when the teams come out, you're going to have some quick sort of choices to make it good that, you've got time to adjust your, lineups right up until when the games start. So that's magic, but you still need to have a good handle on what are the best games, who are the right players to target. I'll be on my 5th or 6th pint at that point, so who knows how it will go. Probably not going to be any rewards video on Friday, but I'll try and get a good basis of teams out, and I'll probably do my teams like tomorrow morning or something, just so that I've got something in case I get completely inebriated, which is possible in the fan zone. So Bayer Leverkusen against Sparta Prague, 3.16 XG, 58% clean sheet percentage, so pretty good fixture all around. I think the other thing to watch out for is teams who are kind of comfortable and through, and teams who really need to win for specific reasons. We'll come back to Bayern Munich in a minute, but yeah, I mean they've probably got the standout fixture for me. It doesn't really show up in the XG, but I do think with Slovan are playing, it's worth a mention here just now. So 70% clean sheet percentage, that makes a lot of sense because I don't think Bayern Munich have faced a lot of XG against this season, even in Germany, and Slovan aren't a great team. 1.6 XG, I think that's underestimated. I think that Bayern capable of taking a couple of goals, and I think they do need a result as well for their own objectives. So, if it goes strong, then I would imagine they'll score 3 or 4. Manchester City against Club Brugge. Again, Manchester City need a result. So, Club Brugge, interesting one. I was pretty impressed with them at Celtic Park. Quite a well organised team. Step up, obviously, playing Manchester City if they're on good form, but they haven't always been on form this season. 2.87 XG. Clean sheet wise, you get to at least know who the goalkeeper is going to be. Borussia Dortmund are a bit in disarray at the moment. Even Schlotterbeck's not scoring well, so there we go. Real Madrid against Brest. Again, Real Madrid do need a result, I think, to see if they can sort of creep into the upper echelon of the sort of playoffs. So it's quite an interesting format that has been devised, obviously, by UEFA, etc. 2.31 XG. Mbappe's firing back in France. I think that'll be good. Barcelona Atalanta is an interesting one. Barcelona are probably the best attacking team around at the moment, but Atalanta are pretty strong all around too. Pretty solid at the back. So proper interesting one. Atletico Madrid could be dark horses as far as I can see. They've still got some stuff to play for as well in terms of getting into the sort of top eight, etc. And Salzburg been so poor. So I've actually put Griezmann into my free to play version. I'll probably use him somewhere. I have sold like awful lot of my sort of classic champ super rares to change strategy a wee bit, but I think that he's a good shout for that. If he starts, Salzburg, pretty weak version of Salzburg at the moment. Not even really topping Austria either. AC Milan against Dynamo Zagreb. Zagreb sometimes go a wee bit defensive against top teams, so could be a reasonable fixture for Milan. There's been changes in manager and everything since Celtic game, so you couldn't really go on that for definite. Sporting against Bologna, again, Sporting playing at home. Bologna are out, so you'd imagine could be a good chance, especially if Bologna take it a bit more lightly, maybe rotate a wee bit. Aston Villa against Celtic will come back to in a minute. River Plate, nice to see the cards coming back for River Plate. Martinez quarter starting well too. There's Argentinian special coming up, so the cards are all selling quite nicely. Obviously, River Plate are going to be in the sort of All-Star this week. I don't think there'll be a lot of teams in All-Star. I think a lot of people will prioritise that Champions League competition, so still a pretty good chance to get a result if you've got those cards that you can run. I have picked up Franco Armani's classic card, just because I think, 140 quid's just ridiculous for the River goalkeeper. Okay, he's classic card, but still use him a bit until changes just now in the 2 and 3 thing. And yeah, I mean, even if he does retire at the end of the season, it's 140 quid. I mean, people are paying the same for in-season rares. In at Milan against Monaco, I was actually looking at Jan Sommer there, his rares. I think he's priced not that bad for the amount of clean sheets Inter Milan get, so that might be something to pick up at some point. Inter Milan don't have in-season cards, so it's going to have to be classic one, but I think he's the type of guy where you can justify it, and he can't be minted anymore, so I don't think I'll have any chance of getting a super rare. Anything else standing out? Arsenal, Girona. Arsenal not been that great defensively this season. Leipzig don't have much to play for. Good chance if you've got Martin van der Voort to use him. Be interested to see what team they put out. Then there's a couple of other games dotted about, but nothing I don't think that's really that important. Monterrey playing Atlas. Atlas have been a bit hit or miss recently as well. So if you've got like Canales, etc., then that's a good chance to use somebody like he's been proper smashing it. So on to the Celtic side of things. So what's the news? Celtic have sold Furuhashi to Rennes. So the news was they expressed a desire to move on. Wants to play in a sort of bigger league to help his chances of playing with Japan, I think. He's won it all with Celtic. Came for about 5 million, sold for about 10. I think that's absolutely fine, if I'm honest. Celtic fans still love him. You see lots of warmth for him in terms of him leaving. Just a shame we didn't sort of know, because couldn't really give him proper send-off last week in the Champions League game. But yeah, the wee man's been brilliant for us. No hard feelings whatsoever there. He's not shown on here because obviously he can't play in this game, but Giotto is Brendan Rodgers. Giotto is signed. I can't believe it, honestly. Jota on the wing, let's go. So that'll be the song that'll be getting sung down in Birmingham, I'm sure. So I'd imagine Yang will probably start this game. It's not a vintage front three, if I'm honest, but Celtic did have the game off this weekend, which just screwed everybody's lineups. So there we go. Nicholas Kuhn could still be dangerous in this game. I watched Aston Villa against I can't remember who they were playing at the weekend. That's how engrossing the game that was. Wasn't a brilliant game. 1 each, I think it finished, and Aston Villa are decent. They've still got some start. I think if they beat us, they could still get top 8, so that would be a nice objective for them. It's an English against Scottish game. You've seen with the Manchester United Rangers game that people are always up for that. Celtic certainly, although they're through, won't be resting their laurels. I think our chances of top 8 are, pretty impossible, but you never know if you win. Things could go for you. So, but anyway, it'll be a competitive game. Celtic have had a wee rest. Kasper Schmeichel playing goals. Back 4, Taylor, Trusty, Vickers, Johnson, pretty nailed. I mean, these guys are only going to be out, I think, if there's some sort of late news or injuries. But this week you can adjust your lineups right until the lock. So who cares, really? Interesting concept. We're not getting into rolling locks today. I don't have any rolling locks. I'm a big baldy bee. So rolling locks, not the right discussion point for me at the moment. Cal McGregor, Arne Engels. Pretty sure Eric Engels will start. Rio Tati was excellent last Champions League game. We've covered the other guys. Let's have a look at the Aston Villa lineup, because that's kind of, it's a feature game for me because I'm going down there. without a ticket. Martinez in goal makes sense. A few injuries in defence. I've seen it. Tyrone Mings get injured that game. That's a shame. Some bad luck with injuries. I think Digne came off as well, though. It was 80% here, so maybe expect to be back. Definitely has good players. Tielemans, Morgan Rogers, Kamara. So, I mean, love a player like Kamara at Celtic, if I'm honest. No offence to Cal McGregor, but I don't think he is an actual defensive midfielder, if you know what I mean. Ollie Watkins, Duran's an interesting one. Loads of rumours around Duran. John McGinn, we know very well. Didn't play at the weekend or didn't start anyway. Jacob Ramsey, I think, scored in that game. So be pleased if Bailey's on the bench, if I'm honest. I think that Bailey could give Greg Taylor some issues with his pace. So yeah, if Bailey's on the bench, I would be well happy about that. So let's have a wee look at the gallery. I'll let you know what I've been doing, just give you a wee overview on strategy wise and what I'm thinking. Picking up a few super rares, etc. here, and I'd always just like to have a quick go over that just in case anybody's interested in it. If you're not, you can just turn off now and just go away and have a discussion with somebody else about rolling locks. Usually on Twitter. Right, I want to see my cards. Don't want to see my collection, I want to see my cards. Why is it not working? Probably because I buy so many of the damn things. Greedy. Anyway, been picking up a few bits and pieces from North Island. I just want to kind of, I was buying the super rares. I thought, well, if the rares are going to be this cheap, why not? Buying guys like 13 quid. Might fire them in an in-season somewhere, especially when I've got good fixtures. There is a split in that league as well. You've got to be careful if North Island get in the top 6, which I think they might, because they've got some good fixtures left. All games will be pretty solid. Jakob Rasmussen I bought just to pair with Patrick Pence. Rasmussen's been averaging pretty well. He's not doing a lot of 80s, 90s, that type of thing, but his stats pretty good in that league. He won't compete with Buscaglia, but who knows what's going to happen with PSV, etc. And there's some weekends they don't play. Frank Cormani I mentioned picked up. Marky Delgado, I think, good move to LAFC. Averaged a bit down to 51, but Rico Puig was the main man at Galaxy, and I think Delgado's a good player. It's not that old. It's the old headshot card, but 40 quid. I mean, I don't think you can go far wrong with that. Again, it is a classic one, but I do have some classic MLS guys. I just like to kind of beef up the gallery with some cheaper options. Frankly, no Dejoux, I think, is a really good player. Pretty well priced at the moment. Should be back soon. Ivan Illich I've picked up. Looks like he's got to Spartak Moscow. You've seen how well Barco does there. Obviously, Barco's got everything in his favour. But Illich certainly won't be averaging 34 there. He's a big signing, so I'd imagine he's definitely going to play. Be a really good pairing with Barco. I don't have a Barco super rare, but you'll see I've got the in-season cards here, which means that when Russia's back, I do still have the option of using an Illich in contender in season, which will be really important for super rare, particularly with the 4-1 rule. Probably covered off the other ones. Kakir probably mentioned before. Son John Ho for 27 quid. Pretty ridiculous price for a man of his previous calibre. It looks like all his stuff with the Chinese sanctions or whatever is cleared up, or basically, well, as far as I know, still risk there, but 27 quid. I mean, it's not expensive at all. Again, not in season, but a guy who scored pretty well before. And I think like with these changes to Super Rare, etc., your classic might actually become a wee bit more difficult because there'll be more classic cards coming back down there. But I don't think a lot of people are that focused on contender. Everybody's MLS. I even have picked up some MLS guys, but sometimes you've got to zig when others are zagging. Everybody will be looking at the Argentinian special and everything, probably slightly better value than the K-League and the J-League, given they've been put in together and, there's less clubs in Argentina. So, but fine. I mean, we know about it up front. I don't really have any big issues with that at all. And I do think that a lot of things Sorare is doing makes a lot of sense. That always when there's changes, there's some sort of negative sentiment with it. But I'm going with my strategy. I'm going to run some Challenger in-season teams for the first time ever. I'm hoping to pick up some other guys as well. We'll see how it all plays out. Anyways, I'm going to go because I need to get in my car and do a long drive down to Birmingham soon. If anybody's around and they're from Sorare or whatever, get yourself into the Celtic fan zone. That's a place to be. But yeah, message me, come say hi, have a pint, a Guinness or whatever. Bring some jump leads for Thursday morning for the travel back in the car. but most importantly, we'll end in customary fashion for the game week. There's a lot of cash on offer. It's a kind of threshold style, so you know the target to beat, and we'll end in the customary fashion. Good luck.